Hello everyone. Welcome to the lecture for the course Applied Thermodynamics. Today we will continue with the reciprocating air compressors, and today we will see the volumetric efficiency from it. Myself Sumit Bardia, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering, Hyderabad. In this lecture we will see the following points like volumetric efficiency, actual indicator diagram for single stage, multi-stage compression, advantages and disadvantages of multi-stage compression, and lastly multi-stage reciprocating compressor. So in the first slide, that is, we'll study about the volumetric efficiency. Volumetric efficiency of a compressor is the ratio of free air delivered to the displacement of the compressor. It is also the ratio of effective swept volume to the swept volume. In the previous lecture we have seen the effective swept volume, that is from PV diagram we are getting the V1 minus V4 and swept volume is V1 minus V3. Now if you are considering the clearance volume, the volumetric efficiency is always less than unity. It ranges from 60 to 85%. The ratio clearance volume to the swept volume is V3 divided by V1 minus V3. So V3 is nothing but clearance volume, Vc divided by Vs. So this ratio is known as clearance ratio, which is designated by small k. As a percentage, this ratio will have a value between the 4 to 10%. The greater the pressure ratio through the reciprocating compressor, the greater will be the effect of the clearance volume. Since the clearance air will now expand through a greater volume before intake conditions are reached. The cylinder size and stroke being fixed, that is V1 minus V4, the effective swept volume will reduce as the pressure ratio increases and thus volumetric efficiency reduces. So volumetric efficiency will be V1 minus V4 divided by V1 minus V3. So we'll simplify it, V1 minus V3 plus V3 minus V4 divided by V1 minus V3. So 1 plus V3 by V1 minus V3 minus V4 divided by V1 minus V3. So again 1 plus V3 by V1 minus V3 minus V4 divided by V1 minus V3. We are multiplying by V3 and dividing by V3. 1 plus V3, 1 minus V1 minus V3. So V3 here, V3 here, V3 V4, V1 minus V3 multiplied by V3. V4 by V3 we have changed that. So V3 divided by 1 minus V3 is nothing but K. So here also it is K. So V4 by V3. So 1 plus K minus K, P3 by P4 raised to 1 by N. So by polytropic process. So here P3 V3 raised to N, P4 V4 raised to N. From that V4 by V3 is nothing but P3 by P4 raised to 1 by N. So volumetric efficiency becomes 1 plus K minus K, P2 by P1 raised to 1 by 1. As we know that P3 equal to P2 and P4 equal to P1. Ultimately, volumetric efficiency we are getting as 1 plus K minus K V1 by V2. So the above equation are valid if the index of expansion and compression is same. However, it may be noted that clearance volumetric efficiency is dependent on only the index of expansion of the clearance volume from V3 to V4. Thus, if the index of compression equal to NCN index of expansion NE, then the volumetric efficiency can be rewritten as 1 plus K minus K P3 by P4 raised to 1 by NE. So by simplifying here, P3 by P4 is nothing but P2 by P1. and P2 by P1 raised to 1 by n is nothing but V4 by V3. So in this case, the volumetric efficiency becomes 1 plus K minus K V1 by V2. In practice, the air that is sucked in during the suction stroke gets heated up while passing through the hot walls and coming in contact with hot cylinder walls. There is wire drawing effect through the walls, resulting in drop in pressure. Thus, the ambient conditions are different from conditions obtained at point 1. So we'll rearrange the volumetric efficiency as we'll assume some points here. P ambient, that is pressure of ambient air. T ambient is temperature of ambient air. So PV divided by T, that is P ambient divided by T ambient, P1 V1 minus V4 divided by T1. So V ambient is nothing but P1 multiplied by T ambient divided by T1 multiplied by T ambient V1 minus V4. So volumetric efficiencies refer to ambient conditions. Volumetric efficiency V ambient divided by V1 minus V3. So P1 multiplied by T ambient, we are substituting the value of V ambient here, divided by T1 multiplied by P ambient, multiplied by V1 minus V4 divided by V1 minus V3. So from previous equation, we can rewrite as V1 minus V4 divided by V1 minus V3 equal to 1 plus K minus K P2 by P1 raised to 1 by n. So volumetric efficiency will becomes P1 T ambient divided by T1 P ambient, 1 plus K minus K P2 by P1 raised to 1 by 1. We can rewrite as P1 T ambient, T1 P ambient, 1 plus K minus K V2 by V1. So this efficiency should not used for finding out the dimension of cylinder. For finding out dimensions of cylinder, the volumetric efficiency based on suction condition only be considered. Now here this figure shows about volumetric efficiency varies with the delivery pressure. So this volumetric efficiency is delivery pressure. Theoretically, volumetric efficiency is 100%. Here the line of 100%. When the delivery pressure equals that of surrounding, in fact no compression takes place at all. It decreases rapidly with increase in delivery pressure at first, then more slowly for increase in delivery pressure at a higher pressure. The volumetric efficiency is lowered by various conditions like very high speed, leakage past the piston, too large a clearance volume, obstruction at inlet valves, overheating of air by contact with hot cylinder valves, and lastly inertia effect of air in suction pipe. So by paying careful attention in the design of compressor to these causes of loss, an improvement in volumetric efficiency can be obtained. Okay, so that is about the volumetric efficiency. Next point is about the actual indicator diagram for single stage. Now here figure shows an actual compressor diagram. 1 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the theoretical PV diagram. At point 4 here, the clearance, when the clearance air has reduced to atmospheric pressure, the inlet valve in practice will not open. Intake depression. There are two reasons. There must be a pressure difference across the inlet valve in order to move it, and second reason is inlet valve inertia. Thus the pressure drops away until the valve is forced off its seat. Some valve bounce will then set in, as shown by the wavy lines here. Here, valve bounce. And eventually intake will become near enough steady at some pressure below atmospheric pressure. This negative pressure difference is called as intake diffraction, settles naturally, showing what is called suction is really the atmospheric air forcing its way into the cylinder against reduced pressure. A similar situation occurs at point 2. At the beginning of compressed air delivery, there is a constant pressure rise followed by a wall bounce, and the pressure then settles at some pressure above external delivery pressure. Compressed air is usually delivered into the tank called the receiver, and hence external delivery pressure is sometimes called the receiver pressure. Other small effects at inlet and delivery would be gas inertia and turbulence. The practical effects are responsible for the addition of two small shaded negative work areas. Okay, so that is shaded region is nothing but negative work areas. Next slide is about the multi-stage compression. In a single stage reciprocating compressor, if the delivery is restricted, the delivery pressure will increase. If the delivery pressure is increased too far, certain disadvantages appear. Figure shows the single stage compressor is compressing to a pressure P2 here. P2. The complete cycle 1, 2, 3, 4. That is single stage compression. Clearance air expansion will be 3, 4. 3 to 4 is clearance air expansion, and mass flow through the compressor will be controlled by effective swept volume V1 minus V4. Assume now that a restriction is now placed on delivery. The delivery pressure becomes P5 here, and the cycle is then 1, 5, 6, 7, 1, 5, 6, 7. Clearance expansion being 6 to 7. The mass flow through the compressor is now controlled by swept volume V1 minus V7, which is less than V1 minus V4. In the limit, assuming the compressor to be strong enough, the compression would take place 1 to 8, where Vs is clearance volume, in which case there would be no delivery. It is seen that as the delivery pressure for a single stage reciprocating compressor is increased, so mass flow through the compressor decreases. Note that the delivery pressure is increased, so also be the delivery temperature increase. Now if high temperature air is not requirement of the compressed air delivered, then any increase in temperature represents an energy loss. So if high pressure is to be delivered by a single stage machine, then it will require heavy working parts in order to accommodate the high pressure ratio through the machine. This will increase the balancing problem, and the high torque fluctuation will require a heavier flywheel installation. Such disadvantages can be overcome by multi-stage compression. Multi-stage compression is very efficient and is nowadays almost universally adopted, except for compressors where overall pressure rise required is small. The method is not only advantageous from a thermodynamic point of view, but also has a mechanical advantages over single stage compression. So we'll see the advantages and disadvantages of multi-stage compression over single stage compression. Now advantages. First we will see the advantages. The air can be cooled at intermediate pressure between intake and delivery pressure. Okay, so that is first advantage. The power required to drive a multi-stage machine is less than would be required by a single stage machine, delivering the same quantity of air at the same delivery pressure. Multi-stage machines have better mechanical balance. The pressure range may be kept within a desirable limits. This results in reduced losses due to air leakage, improved lubrication, and improved volumetric efficiency. The cylinder in a single stage machine must be robust enough to withstand the delivery pressure. The down pressure cylinders of a multi-stage machine may be lighter in construction since the maximum pressure therein is low. Okay, so these are the advantages of multi-stage compression, and the only disadvantage is that in spite of all these advantages, a multi-stage compressor with intercoolers is likely to be more expensive in initial cost than a single stage compressor of the same capacity. So that is the only disadvantage of multi-stage compression. Now, multi-stage reciprocating compressors. Multi-stage compression is a series arrangement of cylinders in which compressed air from the cylinder before becomes the intake air for the cylinder which follows. So this is shown in figure here. LP cylinder, IP cylinder. LP is low pressure, intermediate pressure and high pressure. The low pressure ratio in the low pressure cylinder means the clearance air expansion is reduced since the effective swept volume of the cylinder is increased. Since in this cylinder which controls the mass flow through the machine, because it is this cylinder which introduces the air into the machine, there is a greater mass flow through the multi-stage arrangement than the single stage arrangement. If an intercooler is installed here between the cylinders in which the compressed air is cooled between cylinders, then the final delivery temperature is reduced. This reduction in temperature means a reduction in internal energy of the delivered air, and since this energy must have come from the input energy required to drive the machine, this results in a decrease in input work requirement for a given mass of delivered air. It is common to find machines with either 2 or 3 stages of compression. The complexity of the machinery limits the number of stages. Now, the cylinders here shown with diameter which decrease as the pressure increases. This is because as the pressure increases, so the volume of given mass of gas decreases. This is continuity of mass flow through a compressor, and hence each following cylinder will require a smaller volume due to its increased pressure range. This reduction in volume is usually accomplished by reducing the cylinder diameter. Okay, so that's all about the multi-stage reciprocating compressor, which is more efficient. If you are using an intercooler, the efficiency will definitely increase. Okay, so we'll continue with the same chapter in the next lecture. Thank you.